The story of Madam Elizabeth and her 7 strong husbands. In the rolling green hills of KwaNdlovu, the drums of gossip began to beat long before the sun had set. A stranger had arrived, a woman of striking beauty and grace, dressed in fine Zulu fabrics, her eyes calm like one who had seen both glory and grief. Her name was Madam Elizabeth Mthembu, and behind her followed 7 strong men, tall, broad, and quiet, each carrying her belongings like loyal servants. To the villagers, she was a mystery wrapped in silk and silence. When Madam Elizabeth settled at the edge of the village, she built a compound larger than any other. Within days, her homestead was alive with activity. Goats bleating, fires burning, the sound of men's laughter echoing across the hills. The people of KwaNdlovu were pleased. They welcomed her warmly, as is the custom among the Zulu. They brought baskets of maize, pots of beer, and words of peace. They believed she was a wealthy widow, perhaps blessed by the gods and guarded by her servants. No one questioned why 7 strong men followed her every command. No one imagined the truth. And so the new woman became a tale of wonder. Children would peep through her fence to watch her men at work. Elders would nod, saying, "This woman is wise. She knows how to make men serve her well." But peace in the village was never made to last long, because gossip, like smoke, always finds a way to rise. It happened one sunny afternoon. A group of village women decided to visit Madam Elizabeth to welcome her properly. They came singing, their laughter floating through the wind, baskets of fruits balanced gracefully on their heads. Madam Elizabeth received them with warmth. She spread mats under the mango tree, offered them cool water and fruits from her own storehouse. The women admired her compound. Everything was in order. The men were working in silence, one chopping firewood, another pounding maize, 2 tending to goats. One woman whispered, "Ah, she must be blessed. Look at how her servants obey her." Madam Elizabeth smiled. Then, with calmness in her tone, she said words that made time itself stand still. "They are not my servants. They are my husbands." For a moment, silence swallowed the yard. The birds seemed to stop singing. The women stared, their smiles fading into disbelief. Their baskets slipped from their hands. "Your husbands?" one finally whispered. "Yes," she replied gently, "all 7 of them." And with that, she arose to pour them more water, as if she had just spoken of the weather. The women could not even drink. They left in a hurry, muttering prayers under their breath, their hearts pounding like drums of war. By sunset, the whole of KwaNdlovu was on fire with gossip. They said she was a witch. They said she had powers that turned men into fools. They said no woman of flesh and blood could command such loyalty. But others saw something different. They saw a woman unafraid to walk a path forbidden by men. They saw courage, or maybe both. Still, no one dared confront her. She was too calm, too kind, too generous to be easily condemned. When the children were hungry, she fed them. When the school roof broke, she repaired it. When the widow's field went barren, she lent her seeds and sent 2 of her husbands to help her plow. The villagers whispered behind her back, but in their hearts, they respected her. For though she lived strangely, she lived with purpose. But every calm sea hides a storm beneath. Before KwaNdlovu, Madam Elizabeth had lived in another place, Ezulwini Village, a land both beautiful and cruel. There she was the pride of her people, a successful trader whose name was known across the valleys. She was elegant, kind, and prosperous. Her storehouses overflowed with grain, her hands never idle, her words always soft. Yet, in Ezulwini, no amount of success could make a woman respected if she had no husband. They mocked her endlessly. They laughed behind her back. Even the men who sought her hand came not for love, but for her wealth. When she refused them, they called her proud. When she worked hard, they called her cursed. When she prospered, they said she must be using dark charms. Her heart grew weary. The final wound came during a village wedding. According to custom, only married women could escort the bride to her new home. When Madam Elizabeth joined the procession, they pushed her aside before the crowd, laughing. "You are not a wife. Go home, rich widow of yourself." That night, tears burned her eyes like fire. In her anger, she sought the help of Baba Jabulani, an old herbalist feared by many. He gave her a charm, one that would make men fall in love with her completely, lose their senses for her, worship her as their queen. At first, she used it to test her power. Then revenge took over her heart. One by one, the men of Ezulwini came under her spell. They left their homes, their wives, their children, until 7 men lived under her roof, devoted and blind. The village trembled. The elders cursed her name. The women wept for their lost husbands. When angry families came to burn her house, she fled in the night, taking her 7 enchanted men with her, and settled in KwaNdlovu, far from the shame and whispers of her past. Peace does not last when the truth is buried. One early morning, the hills of KwaNdlovu echoed with shouts. A group of strangers had arrived, women from Ezulwini, their eyes red with tears and rage. Behind them walked old men and children who pointed at Madam Elizabeth's gate. "There she is, the one who stole our husbands," they cried. The villagers gathered in confusion. The truth was spilling out like water from a broken pot. When confronted, Madam Elizabeth did not deny it. She stood tall, though her heart was trembling. Her voice was calm when she spoke. "I wronged them," she said softly. "I wronged myself. I sought revenge and called it justice." The village elder Baba Kumalo stepped forward. His face was stern, but his eyes were kind. "You have played with the balance of nature, child," he said. "Free those men and free your soul before it is too late." That evening, under the mango tree, Madam Elizabeth brought out the small clay pot that held the charm. She broke it open and mixed the herbs with water. Each of the 7 men drank, and one by one, the spell lifted. Their eyes cleared, their minds returned. They looked around as if waking from a long, strange dream. Some wept, some ran to embrace their wives, and some could not even speak. The women from Ezulwini cried and thanked the gods. The villagers prayed, and Madam Elizabeth, the once proud woman of 7 husbands, knelt and wept. After that day, Madam Elizabeth became a different woman. She no longer wore fine clothes or gold beads. She dressed simply, worked quietly, and spent her days teaching young women about wisdom, patience, and dignity. Her wealth she used for others. Her laughter returned gentle and unburdened. In time, she met a man named Mandla, the son of the village elder, humble, respectful, and wise. He saw in her not a scandal, but a soul reborn. They married quietly, without drums or dancers, under the same mango tree where she had once broken her charm. And though her story began with 7 husbands, it ended with one, the only one who truly saw her heart. Today, the elders of KwaNdlovu still tell her story by the fireside. They say, when you see a proud woman, do not judge her until you have known her pain. For Madam Elizabeth's story is not just about love or revenge. It is about how society shapes the hearts of its women, how ridicule can turn kindness into bitterness, and how even the most broken soul can find peace again. And so the story ends with this truth: power without peace is emptiness. Love gained by force is slavery. But forgiveness, that is freedom.